right now, I can just smell asparagus pea. What is that condition where it's the permanent, intense smell of asparagus pea?
Yeah.
Because I have it, and it's distracting.
I'm Dan Souza, and we are in the test kitchen. Today, I am joined by my wonderful friend and brilliant colleague, Hannah Crowley.
Thank you for having me.
So I have family up in Maine in the north. You have family up in Vermont. You have like roots in Vermont, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, my husband's family
Yep.
is from Vermont, and then my family, Boston, South Shore, and Maine too.
And
some in New Hampshire, New England.
So Vermont is like one of my favorite states. I think it's so beautiful. And one thing I notice, I don't know how long ago you started doing this, but I want to dig into it, is foraging for your own mushrooms.
Yes.
Which feels very Vermont. How did that start for you?
Actually, when I was a newspaper reporter at the Burlington Free Press in Vermont,
Okay.
I interviewed this foraging couple. Actually, they don't like the term foraging. It's wild gathering.
Oh, okay.
Because foraging has like a negative, it seems like you're gathering a little aggressively. So they prefer
Foraging is gathering aggressive. Okay, so
Yes.
what's the right term then?
gathering. They prefer gathering.
Gathering, okay.
Yes. So I drove around with this couple. First of all, they dress identically, and they still do 20
Is
years
that a
later.
requirement of if you're a foraging couple?
They're
I mean, a
just
gathering
vibe.
couple?
Like they're just, I think it is. Like they're
Yeah.
just a vibe. Like the same like little crossbody sling bag. Like they're amazing. And we just rumbled around. And then I did that again, like just this summer with them, almost 20 years later, just rumbled around the countryside. And like they showed me how to find morels. And I think I love it because I'm just at core a very cheap person.
That's why you're a forager.
I'm serious. It's like finding gold in the woods. The
Yeah.
price of chanterelles and like let alone the medicinal health
Oh,
and
totally.
deliciousness.
I mean, the price of mushrooms is so high. Yeah, to go from like $30 a pound to free, I get that. That's got to be a
Right?
little bit of like a bargaining, like a buying high.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you're walking in the woods. You know that saying from fishing, like even a bad day fishing is better than a good day in the office, you know?
Yeah.
Even if
But
you don't find
not
any
here,
mushrooms.
Not here at ATK, right? You didn't say that.
No. Everything's fine.
Wait, okay, so you studied, I mean, you basically apprenticed with this couple, it sounds like.
Well, maybe that's a little much, but they got me into it. And I aspire to be their apprentice. They have like a whole wild crafting thing. They mail people things. It's very cool.
Like, how comfortable do you feel? Like, are there certain mushrooms that you're
yeah.
okay, I will go for that one? Because I think for a lot of people that haven't done this, there's a certain level of fear to it.
Mm-hmm.
They might want to do it. How do you figure that out?
The safe 6. So there's 6 mushrooms that don't have any dangerous lookalikes. So even if you mess up identifying one, you're not going to die, and you're not even going to get sick, you know, because, well, I did eat a chicken of the wood off of a pine tree once. So you really have to be aware of things like that because they uptake the pine resin, which is tough on your system.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like, which is why there's a lot of different things that you're looking at when you're identifying a mushroom. You're looking at the top, the bottom, the side, the location.
Where it's growing, what it's growing
Where
on.
it's growing.
Wow, I didn't know that.
What type of tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So, but honestly, guidebooks, like once you look at your region, look at the zone you're in and find a guidebook specific to that and then go start with the safe 6 and go from there.
Do you know the safe 6 off the top of your head?
Oh, okay. Chicken of the wood, hen of the wood, morel, puffball,
Puffball. Oh, man, those are
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah.
chanterelles.
That's 5. Just one more. I'll just throw out a guess. Is there an oyster that's part of the safe 6 or no?
I don't think
There's too
so.
many lookalikes.
I haven't actually. I have an oyster I've been watching for 3 years near my house, but I haven't eaten it yet.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of having mentors, like because I've harvested pieces that I'm going to take and show them.
Okay, in person. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's the dream, but you can't do that. So Facebook actually has amazing mushroom groups from all over the country. So like you find your location in Facebook, and all you do is follow them, and then you'll see people start posting. You have to watch. Like one, I'm like, a cluster of morels? Oh my God, global warming. It's December. What's going on?
Yeah.
And then someone's like, Google searched this image and this was from 3 years ago. This is not true.
So there's like a lot of controversy in that community too?
Well, someone was trying to say they gathered morels in December and we're
You're
no
like,
fools. Yeah, come on.
Come on. Well, so Hannah, that incomplete list of the safe ones doesn't make me feel all that safe, to be honest.
Based off the top of my head right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Which I think is, we should put a fine point on this. The best way to do this foraging or this gathering with mushrooms is to learn from an expert in person, the way that you did. Doing this online in any way is a little bit more risky.
Yeah, I mean, but it's tough. Like, not everyone's going to be able to have a mentor in person. I would look for local classes.
Yeah.
I would also, get the guides local to your area. Start with the safe 6. Don't use Google AI suggestions on what could be the top ones because they may be assimilating their information incorrectly. You don't know,
You don't want a hallucination in the algorithm for something that could make you hallucinate or die.
I won't make a drug reference.
Well, I think the good thing is that like you can buy in a lot of stores now an amazing variety of mushrooms. I love them. I think they're so
Have
interesting.
you noticed the growth of local mushrooms, no pun intended, in the supermarket?
So I think in Vermont, you probably have a lot more of that. I think there's some down here in Boston.
Oh, not everyone has a co-op?
Not everyone doesn't come up.
I'm just learning that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but even like bigger grocery stores that you can get like 4 or 5 different types of mushrooms, which I really love. They have different textures. They're incredible. One of my favorite, I want to hear how you like to cook your mushrooms. One of my favorite ways is a lawn lamb recipe, which uses this really ingenious technique of cooking them in water first and then sauteing them. We've done a ton of experimenting with mushrooms. They're really fascinating structure. They're not plant or animal. They're made up of a polymer called chitin. And by cooking them in water first, you sort of collapse those air pockets in there, right? Then when you cook them in oil, instead of them absorbing like a half a cup of oil while you're sauteing, it's like a tablespoon that just kind of like, covers the outside of them.
Losses it all up.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's totally changed the way that I cook mushrooms. Do you ever use that method?
I do. After learning it roughly, I actually have never made the recipe that it involves, which is one of my favorite things about our recipes, the learning moments that you can take and just
that technique.
apply elsewhere. Yeah. Because, you don't need fancy, oyster mushrooms every time. Those are quite expensive. I like the baby bellas,
Oh, those are good.
and mushrooms, even those are just so healthful and nourishing for you.
Do you have a favorite mushroom ATK recipe, like in a pasta or something?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I love the oh my gosh, the mushroom and gorgonzola tart that Andrew Janjigian
galette?
did. The galette.
Yes, I know
It's
exactly
like
what you're
half
talking about.
whole wheat crust that is just golden and beautiful and is very easy to roll out. I'm not a huge baker, precision person, and easy for me to do. And it's a galette, right? So you can rough it up. But the combination of the roasted mushrooms, I made this for Thanksgiving for the non-meat eaters at my house.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and we had to be like, all right, meat eaters back. Like the non-meat eaters, like we need to make sure they get their servings, like back, because everyone just went nuts for it.
And the shiitake mushrooms are in that, right? I'm sure you could use a lot
I
of
think a
different
mix.
mushrooms.
Yeah, I think it's a mix, but
I love that so much. And the mushrooms add meatiness. I get why you'd use that as like a centerpiece, sort of showstopper for vegetarians or meat eaters alike.
Totally.
I love that recipe. So you can get that recipe. You can get lawn sauteed mushroom recipes all at americastestkitchen.com or in the ATK app. And we have so many more. There's a mushroom bisque, I think that Andrea Geary did that I love. It's like silky smooth, really, really beautiful.
that wild rice and mushroom soup.
Yes.
Remember
that's
that?
such a good one.
Yeah, love that.
Okay, well, the mushroom talk is making me really hungry. Before we have lunch, and I'm sure we'll find something amazing in the test kitchen to eat, we have a really special guest today that I'm excited to bring out. He is a comedian and actor. You know him from his work in Bob's Burgers, Flight of the Conchords, and Archer. His new comedy tour is An Evening of Whimsy and Mild Grievances, and he is a prolific home cook. I'm talking about Eugene Mirman. Eugene, welcome to the Test Kitchen.
Thank you.
So before we dig in on your incredible career and talk about comedy and food, I want to do something which I do on every show, which is pour a tea based off of the personality of the person that I'm pouring the tea for.
Excellent.
So it's a really easy thing to do to match a tea to a person. But no, so I have a really nice Chinese green here called Longjin.
Okay.
And the reason I chose it for 2 reasons. One is I read somewhere that you, for your last meal, would choose dim sum.
Oh, yeah, I
don't know if
might
that's
have
still
said
true.
that feels totally plausible.
Totally possible. I mean, it sounds like a good last meal to me.
Yeah, lots of little. I would definitely choose infinite little things. So yeah,
I like that.
so it could be tapas.
Go
but
on
dim sum
forever.
Sounds great too.
So I think this would go really, really well with dim sum. But more than that, so this style of green tea, the way that they stop the oxidation process is they do like a wok firing. So there's actually a little bit of cooking involved here. And what I've learned about you is that like comedy obviously is the big thing, but you do a lot of cooking. So there's kind of this like almost secret cooking underneath. And that's why I find this tea here. Should we do a taste?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Nice.
Nice, right?
Very light.
It's very,
Very
light.
light.
It's very
yeah,
light.
it looked clear, but it tastes not clear.
So that that is the highest regard that you can have for a tea. Tastes not clear.
Yeah.
That wok step, it caramelizes some sugars as you would anything else in a wok. So it adds some kind of roasty, toasty qualities to it. Really, really love it.
Yeah, this was very nice. What kind of it? What's it called?
Longjin.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a Chinese green. And you can see the leaves over here, they're sort of pressed flat and have this sort of off kind of army green color. So they're not the Japanese like steamed greens, which are like perfectly green.
Yeah.
It has some more of those kind of, cooked notes to it, which I really love. Eugene, you have such an amazing career. I want to start where I think a lot of people probably find you, which is at Bob's Burgers,
Yes.
which has been going on now, is it 15 seasons?
Yes. I think it has been 15 seasons.
Absolutely incredible run. Can you talk to me a little bit about like how, like, did you get a phone call? Like, how did that actually start for you?
Yeah. So Lauren Bouchard, who created the show, is actually from Medford, and he used to work on Dr. Katz.
yeah.
And then him and Brendan Small, who used to be a roommate of mine in the late '90s when we started doing comedy in Boston, did home movies together. And so Lauren, at some point, started developing Bob's Burgers, and he had sort of cast everyone in the different roles he thought they would be. And then we, for maybe 2 years, worked on this demo, this 8-minute demo, and they would record it, and we'd go into the studio. We'd often improvise, and then they would edit it and send it to Fox, and then Fox would give notes, and and it sort of went back and forth. And then one day we, to our surprise, got a call that was like, oh yeah, they're gonna pick it up and they're gonna do, I don't know, was it 9 episodes or 11? It's some very small number of episodes to give it a try. And then sort of like they did, I think, again, like another sort of half season, and then it kind of kept building. But yeah, he cast all of us, and then we all kind of worked on it together for a few years.
Well, I rewatched the pilot recently, and like the controversy of like, is there human meat in the ground beef? I just love pilot episodes. It's like, I feel like the clearest vision of like, this is how weird, or this is how I want this to go. And I really love it when they put the sign up outside that is like the warning from the health department. There's an actual like human sandwiched inside of a burger.
Do you know the reason for that?
No.
So the reason is that Bob's Burgers was originally going to be a show about cannibals that ran a burger place. And then
What?
so it was going to be that, because Lauren had done stuff for like Adult Swim and all this stuff, and then I think Fox was like, hey, are you sure you want to make a show that every week they're cannibals? Like, and he was like, oh, actually, I think if it's just a workplace and family comedy, that's fine too.
Yeah. Wow.
And so they so that part very reasonably was struck from the show.
Yeah.
And it just became a work and family comedy, but that joke remained for the pilot episode.
It's so fascinating.
So,
I had no idea.
Yeah.
What a great call. I mean, cannibalism is obviously hilarious,
Yeah, but like for like 9 episodes, like 300 feels excessive.
I know.
Like 300th time you're hiding a body. I don't know. Too much.
Too much. Well, it was a good move that they got off that.
Yes.
So I want to shift the conversation a little bit more to food,
Sure.
because
That's very reasonable.
very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
You are an avid home cook. I think is probably like the minimum. It seems like you are quite accomplished at it. And I noticed, I was going through a lot of like your posts on Instagram and seeing what you're cooking recently, and you're working on a cacio pepe ramen,
Yes.
which is from Ken Oranger's book that he did here at the Test Kitchen.
Yeah. Yes. And from, I think, Little Donkey Might Serve It or
Yeah.
something like it. Yeah, it was great. It's like, sometimes you make a thing. Like yesterday, I tried to make these potato noodles and then also made tempura. And the tempura worked out great because it was from like a recipe in a book. And then the noodles were like something I saw on the internet, like on an Instagram thing. And I was like, this isn't totally working. Though then my son and I made these weird little balls that we then fried like we did the tempura. And then it worked out pretty incredibly. But yes, the Ken, or like that, I was basically so excited how much it tasted like the thing I was hoping it would taste like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great, and also so simple but so good.
Yeah, that sounds great. I feel like I know the Instagram like potato noodle thing that you're talking about, where it's like potato starch and you're
Yeah.
mixing it with hot water and
Yeah, I didn't necessarily say hot water, but I
Yeah.
might maybe like should have.
He
And-
just
but-
diagnosed where you went wrong, I think.
No,
but they look so
possibly.
compelling and they make like little mushroom shapes sometimes and like
And I
Yeah.
successfully made little balls. Yeah. Anyway, like sometimes a recipe is more specific and it will say hot water. I think when it doesn't, it's like, oh, maybe it should have, or I don't know.
yeah. Maybe it was the TikTok. But it also seems to me that when you are working on a recipe, you're cooking something. Oftentimes, it then ends up like the next day in a waffle iron.
It's true that
You have a big waffle connection.
do, because what are you going to do with a bunch of leftover crab fried rice
Yeah.
other than make a great breakfast?
Yeah.
God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, or hash brown waffles. I mean, I think also some of that's like I always enjoyed cooking and have sort of my own life, but when I lived in New York, I didn't really have like a particularly good kitchen. And then I lived on the Cape for a while, and there, like in comparison to New York, it's like it was, there was space. You could chop a thing. Though it wasn't really that big, but it was enough to cook. And
Yeah.
and then there was a pandemic, which prevented
When was that?
the pandemic just like a few years ago, and it really
Oh yeah. Okay.
shut things down. So like I was like on the Cape with my son, sort of isolated, and I was like, well, if I want, Chinese food, I think I have to make it.
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of just me sort of like all you could do is sort of be home and cook and then stand outside
Yeah.
and weep.
And
So I sort of divided the time.
was it like 50-50?
It was half weeping. I rented a porta potty for my yard so that friends could come visit, because it was before
Oh my
you
God, I
knew
love
that you
that.
could probably just put on a mask and go inside. You just didn't know who was going to die. So I rented a porta potty and we would just sit outside at a great 8-foot distance hanging out.
And the porta
then-
potty, they weren't in the porta potty. They were with you.
They were, I didn't make people sit in a porta potty as I talked to them. I was just
For, like,
"If you
maximum
need the
protection."
bathroom-
Maximum door
Yeah,
closed.
yes. If you need a bathroom and we don't know which of us will kill the other, please enjoy my porta potty that I do not go into to not poison people.
Yeah. That's a really good setup. I feel like there was a lot of ingenuity during the pandemic and
Yes,
and coming
yeah.
up with solutions. And a lot of people came to cooking. We definitely saw that.
Yeah.
So many people coming to americastestkitchen.com and signing up and like really wanting to learn to cook. And I think what you mentioned about being in the Cape is really interesting where, when you're in New York, you may not have had a big kitchen, but you also had like amazing restaurants
Yes.
everywhere and you can get whatever you want. But when you are pulled away from that, it forces you to start building some of those skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are great restaurants, but they are more like specifically seafood or whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
there are lovely places. But yeah, it both forced me to do it and I really enjoyed it. So it was sort of a very fun thing to get to do with all the time.
Yeah, with all of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. You're a big seafood guy?
I do love seafood. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite type of shellfish?
Oh, meaning like within like a oyster, like meaning within a shell.
Well, all right,
Scallop
all right.
or-
Let's talk bivalves. What's your favorite bivalve? Let's start
How
there.
many valves does a lobster have?
I don't know, a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it that.
How many valves? What's bivalve, like a clam?
Yeah, like clams, mussels, oysters, scallops.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, oyster or clam. I mean, I would say maybe steamers.
Oh my
So
God,
steamers.
steamers.
I do love oysters.
Me too.
So I think somewhere between that. But I don't have like maybe the right answer is abalone, but like I don't know enough to.
I feel like steamers is the right answer because they're rubbery, they're gritty. I feel like I
whoa,
don't like
what?
them, and I feel,
You don't like them.
Rubbery
no, and I
gritty?
feel like my palate is not, mature enough or something.
Hopefully, it would be like washed and cooked well, so it would not be rubbery or gritty. But I get why you wouldn't
love
like
it.
it.
Who hurt you with the steamers?
Bo.
Oh, but your husband?
Yeah, he likes them a lot, too much.
Does he like
really.
order them and then wait a half hour before eating them, or does he
Oh, no,
like, eat them right away?
They're gone right away.
And you try it and you're like, this is
It's
disgusting.
rubbery. Are you guys really not going to say it's not rubbery at all?
I'm going to say that a
The
good steamer,
The foot part?
the foot,
That has a little more chew
Let's
to
talk
it.
about
it is
Yeah.
a little, but yeah, I would say
This is my objection.
okay. I would say not really, like meaning, not significantly, but I get that it sounds like you both don't like steamers, and the steamers you have might be terrible.
Thank
So
you.
that's what but you could also just
You think
good
you're saying I have
diagnosis.
room to grow still. You're respecting me where I'm at, but you're saying I have room to grow still. I
I don't know. I think he's more saying that you're wrong about steamers.
No, well, I
But
think
that's
if you were like, I don't like the taste, I wouldn't be like, yes, you do. No, if you didn't like the taste, then that would be totally reasonable.
We
Yeah.
don't
Sounds
have
like-
time to get into my weird texture preferences.
All right, it's true. Okay, it's
Yeah.
got a weird texture.
Yeah, it's got a weird
You
texture.
know what?
I'm a pep.
Yeah.
Pescatarian except for pepperoni pizza.
Oh wow, I've never heard that before.
Okay.
Oh, really? That's
No.
weird. Oh, you haven't? Oh,
We should do a new.
I knew that.
thank you.
I didn't. Sorry, I got so mad about steamers. That's not fair to you. And the truth is, it sounds like you just don't like them, which is totally fair.
Let's just
Yeah.
agree to disagree, okay?
But I do want to stay on steamers for a second if we can.
Sorry.
Oh, so I love steamers. Like I grew up in the Boston area,
Yeah.
and I think they are a little bit strange if you like haven't had them before. The type of clam. You grew up. You were born in Moscow, is that
Yes,
right?
that's
And
true.
but moved at a very young age
Yep.
to Lexington
Yeah. For steamers
for steamers, and were
and
you,
freedom
and freedom. Were
In
you
that order.
in that order. Yeah, it's true.
were you instantly into like the seafood and all that kind of stuff? Or did that come like really?
No,
as
I
you
don't
got
know when
older?
that came, but it wasn't like we didn't come from Russia and then go like, I wonder what food is here. I think we just it was still like, cutlets or whatever we ate. I
Yeah.
think the first time I ever went, like my mom took me to a Chinese restaurant. I think we had like white rice and steamed broccoli, and I was like, "Who served? Like, what is this?" And then like a year later, went with like a bunch of friends, and there was like a cornucopia of food, and I was like, "Oh my god, I was tricked. This isn't all."
We did that
steamed."
wrong.
Yeah, well, I think she was like trying to get a healthy meal, and she succeeded.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
made me think it was a whole restaurant of steamed vegetables
just-
and white rice, and I was like, "Wow, this is."
Not what I thought America
Yeah,
was,
what,
right?
let's go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
What is this?
Not what I'm interested in. So was your mom or your dad a big cook?
I mean, my mom like cooked. I think like I mean, they worked a lot, so I think it
Yeah.
was I started cooking to a degree as a kid, but not like I don't think I knew about recipes really. Like I would just sort of make things or
Yeah.
use a bottle of something like teriyaki sauce, not like wine.
Whatever.
I just have things in roseanne. Like, it's weird.
It's weird.
But I cooked. I started, cooking as a teen probably, and then sort of throughout my life, and then a lot more as I had more time to cook. And then it's true, like being out of New York, where there's so much stuff, and also like sort of bars and restaurants become a bit of your living room, where it's normal to go and meet people as opposed to
It's like
have
where you
people
spend your
over.
time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like where you are, especially if you're also like working in the evening and doing shows. So, I would go and do shows most nights. But then eventually, when I had a kid, and in general, as I left New York, like I was just cooking a lot more.
Yeah.
And also really enjoy it. It's like something that you're not on your phone. I mean, other than maybe a recipe, but like you're really like present. You're hanging out with friends, and I really enjoy that experience.
So I found hidden in a bio on a website that it said that you were a spokespotato for the Food Network,
It's
and I was like,
true.
I have to ask that question because I've never met a spokespotato before.
Yes, I'm America's first and only spokespotato. That is very true. I remember interacting with Alton Brown, and amongst who knows how many things, meaning I definitely wore a potato costume for at least one day, maybe two. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But I know I was like outside a supermarket, and I did something again with Alton Brown, and who knows? I don't know if those videos exist. I bet Food Network has them, or they've destroyed them.
Or it was never even recorded. This
It was
just
recorded
you.
because I remember having these videos,
Okay.
but again, they're probably on some bulky, weird reel or something.
Yeah.
I bet there's a VHS tape somewhere that I might have. But yeah, I was a spokespotato, but this must be in the ballpark of 2001 or so.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So, sort of
2001 or two.
lost to history there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 2002. I don't know.
Maybe we could have you reprise it at some point for America's Test Kitchen. 'cause
I would
We do
put on
not
a-
have a spokespotato. We've talked about it. We don't
Yeah,
have one.
I would come in and put on a potato costume and help promote this beautiful website and network.
That's exactly what I was hoping you would say.
Great.
Okay, so I want to move into a segment that we call the Rorsnack Test. Mm-hmm. So it's just like the Rorschach Test, but instead of showing you ink blot photos, I just ask you weird food questions so we can sort of understand you and psychoanalyze you right here.
Don't worry, we're fully licensed.
Excellent.
Yeah, only for the Rorsnack Test, though, not for anything else. Okay, so the first question I have for you is, how do you eat your corn on the cob?
I eat it like this. Like I hold it and I eat it like this.
Okay, but so let's dig a little bit deeper. So when you hold it like this, do you take bites?
Oh no, I turn.
And go across.
I sort of go like.
You roll it.
I probably roll it.
Roll it. So you're a log runner.
I'm a log runner. Yeah. I didn't know there was a term, and I hope it's fine.
Yeah. No, log runner is
say-
great. Yeah, I'm actually a log runner. Do you know what you are?
What's it called when you go in rows?
That's a
across?
typewriter. You're a typewriter.
typewriter.
So there's log runners. There's typewriters.
Yeah.
There's anarchists. I actually found there
is
are
that?
there are
Just like-
people that take bites from random places all over, and
Is that? But I bet that's linked to like also antisocial behavior.
well,
I
that's
was
the
going to
thing.
say a serial killer.
I think a
honestly.
lot of
was
these,
gonna
yeah,
say
you
that.
can really. I mean,
Tell what someone is like.
yeah, it would tell what someone is like. And so we even within the typewriter, and I wonder if either of you or maybe you're like this. There's like the surgeon, which actually goes in and not just biting through kernels, but pulling out individual ones. Do you do that?
No.
You don't do that. Okay.
No. Do
Okay.
people do that a lot? Like I can't tell if most people are log runners or typewriters,
Yes.
and then there's like 4% that are divided into a bunch of other strange things.
I think it's more like that. I think the typewriter is the most common one. I've done these like big official studies on YouTube in the comments section of a video, and there's a ton of typewriters. There's fewer log runners, but they're still out there. And then, but you get these subsets, sort of like a surgeon subset of the typewriter, and those people. I mean, it's a very vocal minority, so I think I hear about them. You know. All right, so you're a
Yeah.
log runner just like me.
Yeah.
I think it's the most efficient way to eat corn on the cob.
You know, it's hard to say if I feel that I've lost any time in my life from how I've eaten corn in a significant way.
Yeah.
And though I do believe it is the most efficient way,
Yeah,
I am not sure that the inefficient way,
is that much worse?
like meaning like I think like you'd be like, oh my God, I spent 7 more minutes in my life eating corn slightly slower as a typewriter.
Yeah, over the course of your entire life.
Over your entire life. Yeah.
I'm not a slow typewriter.
You're a fast typewriter?
Crunch, 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 crunch. Chew,
Yeah.
Chew. Like,
Okay.
And then when you get to the end, do you do the little ding and you go back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Just
Yeah,
making
yeah.
sure that you're a proper typewriter.
Oh, yeah. I make the noise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about banana ripeness. So
Sure.
I find that if you talk about like peaches, everyone can be like, "That's the perfect ripe peach." We all agree on it. Bananas kind of all over the map. So from like green to black, where do you lie on that spectrum?
I mean, is it strange to say yellow?
That's incredibly strange. No, it's not. It's not
I
at
would
all.
say, yeah, yellow, but like,
pure yellow. Like no little bit of green or no little speckle.
I mean, right. I would say yellow, ideally yellow, right before a little speckle.
Okay, yeah.
So I would
That's a
say,
classic banana. Yeah,
yeah, yes.
yeah.
I would like to eat it before I'm like, oh, I should cut that part out.
Yeah. Well, so but you laugh about it, but there are a lot of people that think that is already too ripe. They want really a lot of green on there.
Really?
I like a heavily speckled banana. I need to be like well past that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then so how adamant aren't you that you have to be in that kind of, let's say at 5 is your
Well, I buy bananas, and then the banana that is in front of me is the banana I'm eating.
Okay.
So if it's like
you have no
brown, I don't think you
conviction.
can eat it. I wouldn't eat like a mushy thing, though I guess you could freeze it and make it into something.
yeah.
And a green banana you would eat if you had to.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
I
like-
get a sense for
So but I'm not like, I don't look at a banana and then go, I'm going to buy a different banana that fits my ripeness requirements.
Okay.
I will just eat the banana that's there or not, or throw it away if it is unedible.
Okay. So
know.
you're pretty easy-going with bananas is what I'm
I mean,
understanding.
I
Yeah.
don't know if easygoing is, but yeah. I will eat, but I don't, yes.
Okay.
I'm easygoing. That's
Yeah.
probably the best way to put it.
So when I was a kid, I watched a lot of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and they would do a little food segment every now and then. And one episode, they were teaching how to make popcorn, which I really love. But he also showed this snack that I fell in love with, and I still eat to this day. Every time I tell people about it, they think it's kind of crazy. So it's a banana. Yours would be perfectly yellow, and then he wraps a piece of either American or cheddar cheese around it and eats it like that.
Oh, wow.
Does that sound appealing to you, or
No.
no? You're a hard no on that.
I'm not a big banana person.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
growing up as Hannah, you know.
Yeah, that's rough. That's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
What about you? Eugene?
So you take a banana and you wrap it in American cheese and eat it?
Yeah.
Let me say that sounds interesting. I would
Okay.
try that.
Okay.
I would try that for sure.
All right. Well, if you do, report back. Maybe do a Instagram post or something.
will.
Do you
I will.
still eat that?
Yes, I still do.
Do you really?
Yes, I love it. It's such a good snack. Yeah.
You need to post that next time you do it. I want to see the comment section.
Every morning.
Yeah.
American cheese?
American cheese. Okay, and then I have a couple questions around asparagus.
Sure.
Do you?
Good. I was like, I hope they ask me about asparagus.
Yeah. I know you.
Just wait.
I know you've got some material. Do you snap your asparagus or do you cut the end off, like when you're prepping it?
Oh, when I'm prepping it,
Yeah.
I snap it.
You
like
snap
I
it?
was taught on something I have no idea about.
America's
I snap
Test
it.
Kitchen, of course, right?
Probably. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
We actually found that if you peel and cut it, you can save a lot more asparagus because that snap can happen sort of a little more randomly than we originally thought.
Oh,
So you can actually
see?
save some. Yeah.
I'm rarely in a situation where, again, like where I've done a thing and I'm like, uh-oh, I snapped it here and now I have this much asparagus.
Yeah.
So I feel like I end up with enough, but now I'll know to cut it and peel it, and then I'll have slightly more.
So around asparagus, one more question there.
Sure.
Is asparagus pea. Are you aware of asparagus pea?
Yes. Isn't it that some people are genetically predisposed to either smell it or create it? I
Yes.
can't remember which it is.
Yes,
I think.
and that there's like almost like you could potentially have like 4 quadrants, and you could make it and smell it, you could make it and not smell it, and kind of all of those.
Oh, great. That's so great.
Yeah, it's so great. Very confusing for
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
So do you smell it?
I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess then I probably also make it.
Yeah.
Because what I don't do is smell the pee of other people who've had asparagus.
Even
So I think we know where
would
I fall on that.
Or maybe you have a little more testing to do, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And-
But I smell it all the time.
even when you haven't had asparagus.
Right now, I can just smell asparagus pee. What is that condition where it's the permanent, intense smell of asparagus pee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have it, and it's distracting.
Okay. My final question in this Rorsnack test is: what do you find to be the funniest vegetable?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. I say that, and I'm like, well, I guess that's what happens when you have a reflexive answer to a thing that isn't a. I mean, I don't know. Is it like lotus root? What's with all the holes?
That's perfect. I love
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. I guess that. I don't know that another one. But they're all funny from the point of view of a different vegetable. I mean, I'm sure that a cucumber thinks a tomato is absurd.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's probably the point of view.
It's the point of view.
Yeah. Wow. What a thoughtful answer.
Yes. No, it was great. Well, it was a thoughtful
you.
question.
Thank
yes.
you.
I would say that you passed the Rorsnack test with flying colors.
Will you air my answer over the other answers of other people you asked that question?
Yeah.
So regardless of what they say, it's always my anscer?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We can definitely do that.
Thank you. That's all I
And
ask.
we'll do you a little potato costume when that's happening.
Yes.
little call back to that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been so awesome, Eugene. What are you going to be cooking tonight? I know you're.
You know, tonight I probably won't be because yesterday I made tempura, and the night before we made like homemade French fries and made a whole fish, and that was really fun. So tonight I think we might take the night off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or throw some of that in the waffle iron.
Yeah, or just take a whole fish.
whole fish
'cause
in a
nothing is good like bones, like old fish bones with a little egg and potato. Crunch, crunch, crunch.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
You just slam it down. That'll
Slam it.
crunch
Oh yeah.
up. Yeah.
Would I be able to turn it into a waffle? Yes. Would I be able to eat it? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's worth the experimentation for sure.
Thank you.
Eugene, thank you so much for coming in. This has been such a treat. Everyone should make sure to check out Eugene's new show, which is An Evening of Whimsy and Mild Grievances with Eugene Mirman. Of course, check him out on Bob's Burgers and everywhere else we get to hear your wonderful voice and your awesome comedy.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for having me.
Thanks, Eugene. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on In the Test Kitchen.